She slammed her fist on the cabin door so hard that the wooden frame shook. "Open up, this property violates HOA Code 43B. She yelled, her voice cutting through the quiet forest air. I stepped outside, half awake, coffee mug still in my hand, staring at the woman with a clipboard and two men behind her dressed in fake police uniforms. "This cabin isn't under any HOA, I said slowly, but she smirked like she owned the mountain itself. "You people think the rules don't apply to you," she hissed. One of the fake cops moved closer, hand resting on his holster, eyes full of fake authority. My wife Sarah stood behind me, calm but cold. Karen waved a paper in my face. "Eviction notice. You've got 5 minutes to pack before we remove you by force." The officers nodded like extras in her personal movie. I glanced at the paper. It was just a blank form with a fake HOA logo. I almost laughed, but then the bigger guy reached for his cuffs. "You're making a mistake," I said, stepping forward. "No, you are," Karen snapped. "You people think you can hide up here forever." Before I could answer, she pointed at Sarah. "She's the one who forged the documents. Arrest her." The men moved fast, trying to grab her arms. But Sarah didn't flinch. She reached into her jacket slowly, eyes locked on theirs. The fake cops froze mid-motion when the gold badge caught the sunlight. "Federal issue." Karen's smile cracked. What is that supposed to be?" Sarah's voice stayed calm, almost too calm. "It means," she said, taking a step closer, "you just tried to arrest a federal agent on her own property." The men stumbled back. Karen's face went pale. The forest went quiet, just wind and panic in her eyes. Sarah lowered her voice. "Now let's talk about who sent you." Karen's mouth opened, but no words came out. The fake cops looked at each other, unsure whether to run or pretend they were still in control. One of them muttered, "She's bluffing," but even his voice trembled. Sarah didn't blink. She held the badge firm, her tone sharp as glass. "You think fake uniforms make you real officers?" she asked quietly. "You're done pretending now." Karen tried to gather herself. "You don't scare me." "The HOA has authority here." "Joey," I cut in. "Lady, we're 30 miles from the nearest town. There's no HOA in a federal forest." Her eyes darted between us, panic rising. "That's not what my boss said," she snapped. "He told me." But she stopped mid-sentence when Sarah stepped closer, her hand sliding to the small body cam clipped under her jacket. A red light blinked to life. "Good," Sarah said. "Keep talking. Everything you say is being recorded." The taller fake cop suddenly turned toward Karen. "You said this was just a property check. You never said she was feds." Karen shot him a glare. "Shut up, Greg. Do your job." But Greg had already started backing away. "I'm not going to jail for this," he said, throwing his fake badge on the ground. The other man hesitated, eyes darting between us and the trembling woman who brought him here. I folded my arms, finally letting the anger show. "So this was all a setup? You really thought you could storm into someone's home and play cop?" Karen's voice cracked. "You don't understand. They made me do it. The man who hired me, he said you stole something from him." Sarah's expression changed instantly. No anger now, just cold realization. "What man?" she asked. Karen's lips quivered. "A guy named Rains. Said your husband used to work for him." The air thickened. My heart skipped once. Sarah turned to me slowly, eyes narrowing. "You didn't tell me you knew anyone named Rains." I swallowed hard. "Because I thought he was dead." Sarah's stare didn't break. The silence between us was heavy, thicker than the pine-scented air around the cabin. Karen stood frozen, watching like she'd just realized she was part of something far bigger than an HOA scam. "You better start talking," Sarah said, her voice low. "Who exactly sent you here? What did he tell you about us?" Karen looked down, voice shaking. He said your husband used to work for him in private security, that he stole a hard drive before disappearing. He said you two were hiding government property up here." Sarah turned to me again. "Tell me that's not true, Daniel." My throat tightened. "It's complicated," I said. Karen blurted out. "He said if we didn't bring it back, he'd send real cops next time. He showed me your pictures, your cabin, even your vehicle plate numbers." Sarah took a step closer. "So you broke into a federal agent's home, based on a criminal's word?" Karen shook her head quickly. "I didn't know. I thought he was legit. He had credentials, said he was working with Homeland Security." Sarah's lips curved into a faint, humorless smile. Homeland Security doesn't send people with printed HOA notices. I could see the gears turning in her head. That same cold calculation I'd seen years ago when we worked undercover together, before everything went sideways. We're being watched, Sarah said suddenly. If Rains found this place, he's not far. She pointed to the tree line beyond the cabin. They're probably waiting to see what happens. Karen stepped back, shaking. You mean, he's here? I scanned the woods, heart pounding. The sound of a twig snapping echoed from the dark. Then Sarah whispered, Everyone inside now. Before we could move, a red laser dot appeared on the side of the cabin, then another, sliding across the window frame. Someone out there had a rifle. The moment that red dot swept across the window, Sarah grabbed my arm and pulled me down behind the porch railing. Get down, she hissed. A second later, glass shattered. One clean shot through the cabin window. Karen screamed and ducked, covering her head. Sniper, Sarah said under her breath. He's testing distance, not aiming to kill yet. I crawled beside her toward the door. You sure it's Rains? She didn't answer right away, just pulled a small black device from her jacket pocket. A signal tracker. The screen flickered with moving dots. He's close, she said. Too close. Another shot rang out, hitting the metal kettle on our porch table. The echo faded into silence. Sarah motioned for everyone to move inside, low and fast. Karen stumbled behind us, clutching her fake clipboard like it could protect her. He's going to kill us. You said he was dead. I slammed the door shut, locking it, breathing hard. He was, I said, voice trembling. Rains died in a raid 3 years ago. I saw the explosion myself. Sarah turned sharply. Then either someone's using his name, or he didn't die, I finished. The radio on the wall suddenly crackled to life. A deep, familiar voice came through, slow and calm. Hello, Daniel. It's been a long time. My blood ran cold. Sarah's eyes darted to mine, her hand already reaching for her sidearm. Karen looked around, confused. Who is that? I stared at the radio, unable to breathe. The man who trained me, I said quietly, and the man who wants everything I took from him. The voice on the radio chuckled softly. You have something that belongs to me, soldier, and I don't like waiting. Then the line went dead. The silence afterward was deafening. Sarah whispered, he knows we're trapped. Karen began crying. Please, I didn't know. I just wanted the money. But before she could finish, a black SUV rolled into view through the trees. Slow, deliberate, headlights off. Sarah stood, steady now, eyes cold. Then it's time we end this, she said. My way. The SUV stopped 20 feet from the cabin. Its engine hummed low, steady, like whoever sat inside wasn't in any rush. Sarah peered through the cracked blinds, her jaw tight. One driver, two in the back, she whispered. All armed. I could see the faint outline of their silhouettes, movement behind tinted glass. Karen was pacing, whispering prayers under her breath. You said this place was safe, she said. You said nobody could find us? I didn't answer. I was too busy thinking about the thing buried under the cabin floor. The hard drive. The one I told Sarah I destroyed years ago. The front door creaked as Sarah unholstered her weapon and checked her mag. If he wants a show, we'll give him one, she said. Daniel, grab the case. We're not letting him walk away with it. Karen looked at us like she finally understood how deep she was in. Wait, you really do have it? I ignored her and lifted the floorboard behind the fireplace. The metal case was still there, dust-covered but intact. My hand shook as I picked it up. This thing's the reason he burned 3 cities and killed 8 people, I said. What's on it? Karen asked. Proof, Sarah said, of every illegal op Rains ever ran. Assassinations, off-grid experiments, black money trails. Enough to bury him for life. Outside, the SUV door opened. A tall man stepped out, his face half-shadowed. Even from a distance, I recognized that walk, steady, confident, terrifyingly calm. Rains. Sarah tensed. He doesn't know you're with me, she whispered. Let's keep it that way. Before I could ask what she meant, she opened the door and stepped out into the open. Sarah, what are you doing? I hissed. She didn't look back. Buying you time. The cold air swallowed her voice as she walked toward him. Rains smiled. Agent Carter, he said, his tone smooth as oil. I was hoping you'd still be alive. Sarah stopped a few feet away. Drop the act, Rains. You're not here for me. You want the drive, and he smirked. You think I came all this way for Data? No, I came for him. He pointed toward the cabin, straight at me.